Welcome back to math class. Today we're going to do Unit 8, Lesson 21, and you all should have your textbooks home. Hopefully you picked up your things from your locker. Please join me on page 405. Pause if you need to go get your materials. Make sure you have your calculator too. All right, so today's lesson is actually partly a review and partly something new. Today we're going to do the something reviewing, and tomorrow and the next day we are going to be doing the something new. Okay, so we're going to kind of build on what you learned already. First thing we're going to talk about is perimeter. It's been a while since we've talked about perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around something, kind of like if you're going to build a fence around something, or we talked about trim on the floor at your house, or sometimes people have a wallpaper border around their room. It's actually just going to be a length. For number 1, 2, and 3, they would like for us to find the perimeter of the triangle. So that's going to be the outside. I'm going to go to another color here so you can see it. So this right here. So how do you find the perimeter? Add up all the sides. 10 plus 10 plus 9. You can do that in your head. 29 centimeters. Now we didn't do any multiplying there, so it's not centimeters squared. We just added. All right, try this one. Ooh, that gets to be a little confusing because we got another number out over here. But we're actually just going to look at the figure itself. We don't need to know the height to figure out the perimeter. I just kind of went over your number for you there so you can't see it very clearly. In your textbook you can see it. All right, go ahead and add up all the sides. Your answer should be 12 centimeters. All right, I'm going to give you a moment. Do figure C. Perhaps that 4 threw you off, but that 4 is not around the outside, so you wouldn't use it. So you've got 5 plus 5 plus 6. Your answer would be 16 centimeters. All right, now, same triangles. We're going to find the area. Now, how do we find the area again? Could write it a couple different ways. Base times height divided by 2, or if you want to think of it as half of the base times the height. Figure A. What's the base? What's the height? Ooh, there's a lot of numbers up there. Well, think about, you're looking for the intersection of the lines that make this angle. So it's going to be this one and this one. So base is 10, height is 8, 10 times 8 is 80, but remember that would be the area of the whole parallelogram or the whole rectangle. You've got to take half of that. Half of 80, 40. And because we did 10 centimeters times 8 centimeters, centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. So area is going to be squared, perimeter is not. Perimeter is just like a line. Area is all this stuff on the inside, like covering it all up, like if you're going to paint that or cover it with mulch. Let's try figure B. I'm going to give you a moment and you try that one. All right, I'm hoping that you saw the right angle here. I'm hoping that you saw that these are the two lines that make that angle. So it's 2 times 3, which is 6, divided by 2 is 3. Now look at how strange the perimeter is, 12, when you compare it to the area, 3. And you might be thinking, how can that be? How can those numbers be so different? You would think the perimeter would be smaller. Got to remember, the perimeter is like if you took a string or a rope or something and put it all the way around this. whereas the area is where you're filling the whole, covering the whole thing up. So it's two different things. All right, figure C. Try that one. Six times 4, 24, divided by 2 is 12. So far we haven't needed our calculators, have we? All right, 12 centimeters squared. And again, if you're typing it on a computer, you can't really do that little 2 very easily. There's a way, but it's kind of tricky. Most people write it like this, square centimeters. All right, here's something we haven't seen for a while. Parallelograms. Remember, a parallelogram has opposite sides parallel, and the opposite sides are the same. Okay, so first things first, we're going to do the perimeter of these parallelograms first, and then we're going to do the area. So I'll do this first one with you. So it's as if we're going to put a rope around this area. So this is 4 centimeters. That's not very big. Maybe we should say string. And then this side is 6 centimeters. Okay, now I got to go here, but they didn't tell me that number. But if you remember the opposite sides are equal, you know that this is 4 centimeters. And then same thing down here. They didn't give us the measurement, but you know it's the same one here. Be careful, it's not the 5. The 5 is the height. So we don't need that 5 at all when we're figuring out the area. And a quick way, 6 and 4, 10, 6 and 4, 10. So your answer for figure D is 20 centimeters. All right, you go ahead and do 8 and 9, and I'm going to pause for a moment. Use your calculator if you want to. Find the perimeter of E and F. All right, figure E, 7 plus 4. Over here, same as that side, 7 and 4. Doesn't matter what order you add them up in. You'll get the same answer. I like to do 11 and 11. I get 22. Maybe you just added them in order. Maybe you did 14 and 8. Doesn't matter. You get the same number. Over here, hopefully you saw 8 and 6 and 8 and 6. Answer there, 28 centimeters. All right, I'm going to erase my gobbledygook here. Maybe I'm going to scribble all over our paper. All right, part D, or number 10, figure D. Now we're going to figure out the area of the parallelogram. So you remember the area of the triangle was base times height divided by 2. We got that from dividing the parallelogram in half. Remember how we had the diagonal that went along here? Or you could draw it the other way too. You could go back this way. Oop, not with the eraser, Mrs. Crosland. There we go. You do it that way too. That cuts it in half too. So it's a little bit like the area of the triangle, except we're just going to do the base times the height. Cut it in half, you have the triangle. Tricky part, base could be any one of the sides. Usually we talk about it as being the bottom. In 5th grade, they'll turn it so that the bottom is the base, but you're really just looking for the 2 lines that make that right angle. That's going to be the base. That's going to be the height. Okay. 4 times 5, 20. And you, if you're really paying attention, you might think, well, that's what the perimeter is. The perimeter is just going to be like a single line. It's one-dimensional, whereas the area is everything inside of that parallelogram. So that's going to be squared. There are 2 different kinds of measurements. All right, try figure E and try figure F. I'll wait for you to do it. You may use your calculator, but I don't think you're going to need to. I'm really hoping you put 21 centimeters squared, or square centimeters, 7 times 3. You didn't need the 4 at all. And over here, 32 centimeters squared. If you got, what would you get here? If you got 10.5 for this one and 16 for that one, you cut it in half. You figured out the triangle part of it. So no dividing by 2 when you have the parallelogram. All right, let's go on to the next page. All right, I think I need to, I don't know if I can move this page over at all or not. Maybe a little bit. No, I can write on it. All right. I think we can do this even though it's cut off a little bit on the side. So I would like for you right now to practice finding the perimeter for 13 and the area for 14. These will be the last 2 problems we do. Do the perimeter and area, And I'll wait a few seconds for you to do that. If I didn't give you enough time, go ahead and press pause, but some of you I know are done. So the perimeter in this one, 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7, you should have gotten 32. Whoop, there's your pen. 32 centimeters. And the area is 9 times 6, base times height. So that would be 54 centimeters squared. Over here, perimeter, 13 plus 13 plus 10, 36 centimeters. And the area, half the base times the height. So it would be 60. 60 centimeters squared. If you had 120, you figured out the area of the whole parallelogram. You forgot to divide it by 2. And if it helps you, just write those formulas down. Or if you want to write it like this, for the area, if it helps you, write those down. That's all for today. Good luck on your homework. I can't remember how many times you can do it, but if you look at the questions in Schoology, it should tell you how many times you can take it, or in the daily directions, it can tell you how many times you can take it. Good luck. Goodbye.